Hello and welcome to DDOCast episode 647, recorded live on Saturday, August 14th. I'm your host, Patrick. With me this week, we have from DDO Players News, Draculetta.
Hey, Patrick, thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, and I'd just like to take a moment to comment on the timing of this, because our two football teams are playing each other and we're doing a podcast instead.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to say, I'm missing a football game for this. Just saying it.
It's a preseason game. Is it really a football game?
Well, true.
This week's screenshot, Cicada Greenleaf takes a morning swim off the coast of Saltmarsh in the 520th screenshot of the week. Thanks, Clubber Lang, for sending in this week's screenshot. I've said this many times before, but if you want to get a better chance of getting the 500 points for getting your screenshot selected, pick new content. Something creative with new content is pretty much a shoo-in for that. So, and this is kind of a neat screenshot. I like the use of water. Very nice.
It is. Yeah, I like it. It's been a long time since we had like a water type screenshot. So yeah, I like it.
It's a little disorienting, but it's a nice screenshot. It's well done. I like it. We like to talk about Dungeons & Dragons online nearly every weekend. You can catch us through Twitch, YouTube, the DDO forums, iTunes, or from our website at DDOcast.com. DDOcast is hosted by Cyber Ears, the awesome podcast hosting network, and shows are usually available within a few days of recording. The next show will probably be next weekend, and you can stay updated by following us on our social media pages or our website, DDOcast.com, with our calendar. On the podcast this week, we're going to... For all intents and purposes, this is going to be just a straight news show. I'm calling it this. We're going to talk about the Saltmarsh Rollout, or Update 50, the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, because we didn't have a show last week, which is when Saltmarsh came out. And then there was a hotfix, and then there was a patch. So there's 3 sets of release notes to go through. So I figured we just kind of make it about. It won't be a topical discussion, but we're just going to be talking about Saltmarsh going live and hitting the servers. It's kind of the main thrust of where we're going. With that, we'll get into game news. Like I said, there's gonna be a lot of game news today, and we'll kind of get through it as we can. And the first thing is not Saltmarsh related. It's about customer service response times. And Cordovan wrote that we always want to provide the best customer service to our players that we can. So when our response times aren't what we'd like them to be, we want to let you know what we're doing about it and what to expect in the coming weeks. Our response times to your tickets have not been as fast as we would like due to a challenging work schedule, along with some open positions currently being filled. We have temporarily brought in several agents to help with the ticket queue while we work on a more permanent hiring in the coming weeks. Until that hiring is complete, though, you can expect a slower response time to your issues. We will do our best to be as fast as we can, and we appreciate your business. So a couple notes from me on that. They're hiring. And they've actually put out a couple of things about hiring, and not just for customer service, but that's one of the things that they're doing. So if you're interested in hiring, there's I didn't grab any of the bits off of that for this show, but it was on their Twitter feed a while back, a couple of weeks ago. Second, I think the general response to this is, yeah, no shit, the response times are lousy.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly, but yeah.
It wasn't all that mild.
It's nice to see that they're aware of it and they're actually actively trying to do something about it, I guess, is the bright side you can look on that. I mean, it just sucks that the response times are slow, because I actually had a ticket I had to put in, and yeah, it was painful.
Yeah, but response times have been, I think, fairly dreadful for a while.
True, yeah.
I mean, when was the last time you put in a ticket and said, okay, I'm going to wait here in this quest for them to get back to me?
Right, yeah.
Nope, I'm just going to go rerun the quest.
Right. I'm just going to exit out and do it. I'll take the XP and it's fine.
It took me 10 minutes to run it the first time. It's not going to take them less than 10 minutes to respond to my ticket. So,
right.
Yeah. Expansion delivery. I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to apologize. My notes are not as clean as they are sometimes. Because there was a lot of stuff, so things got put in places that weren't necessarily the best order. So we're just going to get past that. And I apologize. Expansion item delivery. So, Saltmarsh, they did a new method of delivering the items from the bundles. For Saltmarsh, instead of just dumping everything into your inventory, you will instead be directed to an NPC that will simply give you any cosmetic you've purchased if you so choose. And I'll add not just cosmetic, but all of the stuff. The hirelings, the dimensional bag, even that you only get once. Everything that's in the bundles that you would get in game, aside from the VIP thing. It's all you have to go talk to the guy to get it. The fast travel, all that stuff. This way, players won't get spammed with him without their control, and if they ever want an additional copy, are free to return to the NPC to pick up one themselves. Which I think in general is good, right? Like, I kind of liked that. When I create new characters to roll dice on other servers, I end up trashing a bunch of this stuff, and it just takes a few minutes to trash it. So not getting more stuff dumped into my inventory, I kind of like. On the flip side, I did kind of have this moment of, well, it would have been nice if I at least got the fast travel thing, so I didn't have to walk there to get it.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. They should have separated it out, but I don't know if they could do that or not. But
well, at the same time, I guess
technically
a small inconvenience.
All you had to do was go to Gatekeeper's Grove, so it's it's like you said, it's a little small inconvenience. But I kind of like how they're doing this. I hope they do this in the future too.
Not only the future, but and this may show up later, and I might give more details on it later if I find it in my notes. Again, sorry, lousy note taking this time. But they're discussing about if they can do that with the old ones as well, the old expansions as well, and convert them to that. So Ravenloft, Charn, all of them, right? Now, here's the rub I have with that. I think they're gonna have to come up with I think the delivery system works. You go talk to someone and you get the stuff. But they may need to put those people in not those places. Because where do you put the Minutes of the Underdark guy or the Shadowfell Conspiracy guy to get your stuff? Because if you put them in Evening Star and you're rolling a new character, how do they get to Evening Star to get their stuff?
Good point. I did not think. Yeah.
Ravenloft and Feywild are less of an issue for that, but you would still have to run a quest or run through an explorer area to get that stuff.
To get there, right? Correct.
And Sharn is a bit more of a run than this one was. So I like the way that they're going. Devs, if you're listening, maybe put these guys also in the Hall of Heroes. Please and thank you.
Or Gatekeeper's Grove, either one, but yeah.
Hall of Heroes for everybody. Put all the expansion, or put one dude in there that you go up and talk to him, and he gives you a list. Say, hey, which expansion do you want to talk to me about? Okay, now I'll give you that tree, right?
I like that idea.
Works for me.
One and done.
Because I love the new way that they're doing it. I like the new delivery system. I'm a little concerned about things because I think the Menace in the Underdark and the Shadowfell Conspiracy ones are the ones that give the XP tomes. So if you have that XP tome, if you can't get the heroic XP tome till you hit level 15 or 14 or whatever and run through the Lords of Dust chain to get kind of dilutes the value of that, doesn't it? So Hall of Heroes, that's my solution. Also, kind of related to this, as of update 50, all of the hirelings you get from these things are now bound to account. Yay!
Thank you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think that I'm a terrible person this week. It would have been great if I would have actually gone through and checked all of them and to see if they're all bound to account, but I think they all are. And I think that includes the Panther and the white, was it a lioness? The not Panther, but just another skin on a Panther kind of a thing. I think those are all bound to account, which is great because if you maybe destroyed one a while back or you lost one, Samus and I talked about this last time he was on the show, right? You can make a new character and get a new one, so that's great. assuming you have character slots. But really, at this point, you only need 2 or 3, right? Like you can just put a few in your dimensional hireling folder, put it in your shared bank, do a little extra management, and you can have one a character and only keep one set. That's fine. Or you can roll a new character and get him back. All sorts of win here. So, it does say all previous permanent gold seal hirelings, so I would assume it would be the panther and the owlbears and all of that stuff. So that's great.
Yeah, they're supposed to be. Like I said, I didn't check it either. I
Yeah.
didn't try it, but supposedly yes, they all are bound to account now.
Other stuff about the expansion for Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh. If you already own the standard or collector's versions and you go to purchase one of the higher bundles, you will be given a price reduced by the cost of the bundle you already own. This is, in fact, new functionality for the DDO market as of this release. To be clear, this only currently exists for Saltmarsh. Older offerings in the DDO market do not have the simple automated upgrade process. They may in the future. They didn't really promise that, but it's a maybe. Although, don't quote me on this, but I believe people have had some, quote, success at contacting them and saying, hey, I bought this pack. Can I get the upgraded version and not pay the full upgraded price? And I think they've been able to do that in the past. I might be wrong on this, but I think they've been able to do this in the past. Please see a previous note about customer service response times. You might be waiting a while.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Also, they don't. I believe they still don't have the gifting capability yet. So if you want to buy this for someone, you need to PayPal them some money. I almost said wire money, but that's probably a bad idea. You might find someone that's playing out in Nigeria or a plat farmer or something like that. I'm assuming you're not just going to wire money out of the blue to someone. But anyways, as far as I know, you can't gift stuff out of the market still, which is unfortunate. That would be a nice thing to return, right? So, okay, so that's the fun stuff. Let's talk about Update 50, which was released on August 4th. That was the Wednesday, a couple weeks back. Going to kind of do the short version of the release notes, just because we've talked about a lot of stuff in these release notes a bunch, but not with Drac. So Drac, feel free to chime in and slow me down if you want to talk about some stuff. Okay. Saltmarsh is out. The quests are level 3 on heroic difficulty and level 32 on legendary difficulty. You can speak with the NPC Val Arklamanach in the Great Keeper's Grove. One of these days, I'm going to figure out that I should read these names and figure out how to pronounce them before I'm reading them live.
I feel you, man. I feel you.
Say them fast and confidently, and then no one will notice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless they're listening. So you can. It's in the Gatekeeper's Grove. It's right next to the guy that does the Borderlands. So it's pretty easy to get there. Let's see. I will. This is probably a good place I need to mention. I saw this a lot of questions about this, on the forums and stuff. It is intended that on level 32 you get level 3 items, named items. It has to do with the scroll shield shard revamp mechanics. They basically said we're revamping that system. We're going to make this loot the same system. I'm pretty sure this is going to come up later as well. We'll talk about it more in detail, but that is intended behavior, which has some other ramifications. VIP rewards. VIPs who log in between now and Sunday, September 5th, will be flagged to receive a Saltmarsh VIP Elixir of Discovery. Your characters will receive claim tickets in their inventory, which can be turned in to Gathelmore, an NPC in Saltmarsh. It's the same one you get your goodies from. So if you're turning in for your bundle stuff, this is the same guy. The NPC can be accessed as long as you own a standard collector or ultimate fan edition of Saltmarsh. It wasn't super clear to me. If you are a VIP and do not have the expansion, but I believe this ticket will still show up in your inventory and just sit there until you turn it in, which you have to own the content for. They also not super clear here to me if this might be in the FAQ, which we'll get to later. I'm not sure what happens if you wait to buy this content with points, if you would still be able to turn this in, or if you would have to buy the expansion. So keep that in mind. If you want to hear us talking about whether or not we want to buy the expansion, see our previous show where we talked about it in detail. So you go. So that's some stuff with Saltmarsh. Really quick, Drac, have you had a chance to run through the content?
I have. I've done like 3 of the quests so far.
Early thoughts?
I like what they've done. Saltmarsh. I've ran through Saltmarsh in pen and paper countless times back in the day, so I was excited to see what they did. I liked what they've done. I can see there's a couple places where they tweaked it a little bit, but of course that makes sense because they always do that when they go from pen and paper to video game because it's 2 different worlds. But
Yes.
overall, I like it.
All right, some generic notes and stuff. Poison damage resistance now properly reduces poison damage. Helpful. Druids now get protection from evil mass as a level 7 spell. Or protection from elements, sorry. Which, great. Makes sense to me. Changes have been made to the spellcasting system that makes casting spells more reliable. This may prevent dry firing of spells in certain situations. Anything that can reduce that, I am on board with. Let's see, hirelings now cast their spells more reliably as well. I assume that is somewhat related to that. They fixed an issue we're trying to swap out of a missile weapon into a melee weapon wouldn't queue properly. Monster perception range is now slightly smaller. This may not apply to raid bosses or custom bosses. Saving throws and all epic monsters have been reduced, and the legendary 2 monster boosts have been removed. So that is great. We've talked about that pretty in detail. Underwater combat has been adjusted for playability and no longer adjusts what spells are able to be cast. Instead, fire spells deal 80% damage and electric spells do 120% underwater. But your movement and or attack rates are not hit as severely, that kind of stuff.
If you've always wanted to cast Fireball underwater, you can do so now.
Which I have, because in pen and paper, they actually give you rules for that. They actually say specifically that is, you can do that. It just looks differently, right? Like it's superheated water instead of... But you can cast Fireball underwater. That is actually a legitimate thing in pen and paper. I was a little surprised that underwater combat was not more of the module, of the expansion. It's barely in it. Which is not, I think, a bad thing. Like, underwater is still not fun.
Is that a bad thing?
Yeah, no. I've only run through Saltmarsh once, so...
DDO at all.
Yeah. It was good. It was fine. Not my favorite expansion by a long shot, but, I mean, there's some really good expansions, so it's perfectly fine. Let's see. Horizon Walker is out. It will be available for DDO points in February of 2022. So, wow, that's a long wait. I think it's the same timing for the expansion as well. We're not gonna go through the release notes for Horizon Walker, but I have not played with it myself yet, but I have seen a lot of folks really liking it, so that's good. Let's see. There's some other fixes as well. Eldritch Knight's item defense now gives the listed amount of item defense. Meticulous weaponry now anti-requisites with other forms of item defense from falconry. Knight of the Chalice had some names get changed so that they weren't the same name as other things in the same tree. And they fixed the Aura of Courage buff from that capstone. Let's see. Kind of just fixing a bunch of stuff. Inquisitor's crossbow style no longer claims it has 2/3 double shot reduction instead of its actual 1/2 double shot reduction. Guys, that was a change that was made, what, like a year ago? And it's just now getting in the tooltips? What is up with that? Let's see. Eldritch Rituals no longer sometimes place buggy visual effects on your character in certain situations. Sort of curious what that is. Let's see. Radiant Servantry was updated. I feel like we've talked about that enough, unless there's something you want to mention out of it. Same with Shader Kai. Hearing no objections. Let's see. Favor stuff. 400 Gatekeeper reward is now Horizon Walker. That didn't work super great. We'll talk about that later. Patron reward feature now consistently remain on you through lesser and epic reincarnations. Boy, that's really ironic that that's the next release note after that. The Gatekeeper favor Horizon Walker. Oof. Let's see. Burst of Glacial Wrath now works on everything rather than erroneously excluding certain monsters. Cool. Work better. Favorite enemy feat. What was that? I think you're breaking up again. Let's see. Hirelings. We already talked about it, but the Gold Seal Hirelings are bound to account. Hey, such as the Onyx Panther. I read the release notes. Scroll Seal Shard system update has happened. This affects stuff from the following adventure packs: Fjarland Carnival, Sands of Menectarin, Sentinels of Stormreach, the Chronoscope, the Red Fens, the Vault of Night, and Web of Chaos. Additionally, some of these items will get level 30 versions. So you get pack ingredients from each of the packs, plus some tokens of greater tokens of the 12. Its item is from a raid. The legendary item that'll get you an epic item. The legendary items, you need the epic item, more pack ingredients, and 5 star fragments, which are currently only available in Saltmarsh, from legendary Saltmarsh. I did a full run on legendary. I think I got 4 or 5 of the star fragments out of that. They seem to drop from all of the chests, and I did not do all of the chests, so you might be able to get more or less depending on how efficient you are at farming chests and stuff, but it doesn't seem like they'll be too hard to get. The pack ingredients will drop wherever seals or shards will drop in moderate amounts. It will likely take 2 to 3 runs of a quest to get enough of the material for one item. That's debatable.
I am back. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I think people have, and I think they've actually acknowledged in a part that I might mention later, that they probably undershot the number of times it's going to take to get those bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So, let's see. You can just deconstruct existing seals, scrolls, and shards to get pack ingredients, which wasn't too bad. I did that. I will say, as a recommendation, try to self-sort the bits by pack. The reason for that is as long as you put a seal or a shard from the same pack into the crafting window, you don't have to reselect which pack ingredient you're getting. So it's one less click for each bit. So if you can do it by pack, it'll go a little bit faster for you. So, let's see. Players with old epic items can update them into the new version by placing them into the legacy altar rituals located in the 12. Please note that process permanently consumes any augments or sentient filigree on your item. So make sure you've removed any of those that you want to keep. If you can. I actually discovered that I still have a red dragon armor that is old enough that it still has the older style of augment. And
wow, really?
Yeah. Yeah, an augment from the time where you put it in and you had to like go and wipe it out to get the new augment or something like that. It hasn't been worn in a while, okay? The end game itemization update has happened. We're gonna kind of gloss over a lot of this. And this also includes a lot of monster power changes. I have not played enough to give like a anything more than kind of a hot take first impressions of this, but it seemed mostly fine. It didn't seem like it was taking me longer to do content. It doesn't feel like it's taking my friends longer to do content that we're generally doing. Mileage, I think the biggest place mileage is going to vary is with DCs and evasion mobs. That's kind of where I'm noticing the biggest variation. I do definitely find that things are evading my spells from an alchemist more often than they were before. But I haven't really had a lot of issues getting through the content, so doesn't seem to be too big of an issue. Guild augments have been fully deprecated. They removed them entirely from the game and then had to put them back in. This will probably show up later in more detail. But they did that so that you could pull them out of your banks and your bags and all that stuff. Because Severe Spirit Cakes now be used by raging players. Great. We're going to come back to the docents and armor not doing things right. So, weapons that do non-mundane damages, such as Flame Blades or Celestias, now correctly interact with DR and resistances. Yay. Let's see. Trap the Soul now requires a standalone special component called a Kyber Dragon Shard that is found in shops wherever high-quality spell components can be found. This component works for all variations of the Trap the Soul. Very nice change. What am I supposed to do with my Kyber Dragon Shards now? Anything? So, yeah.
Hoard them, I guess?
Yeah, right? Because I don't have enough. I actually pulled out some of the Siberius Dragon Shards to crunch into to crunch through the process to make them into feat gems, and then I found something else to do that was a lot more exciting than that. that altar really needs to get an update to the newer crafting windows, the barter windows, and maybe simplify that process a little bit. Not that I need them, but I was just kind of trying to clear some space out of my crafting storage. Let's see. They fixed a bunch of stuff from items. Anything worth calling out? A bunch of set bonuses getting fixed. Glowing eye cosmetics now show elven ears correctly. Sure, okay. The new monster manual's out. Volume 8. This includes griffins, satyrs, goblins, animated objects, living spells, gnomes, harpy, merilith, forge wraith, and wights. And at this point in time, I think to myself, boy, I wonder what those rewards are. I should probably look at those.
Always forget to do that.
Yeah, right. Here's your reminder before you do your show. Oh, wait, you already did it.
Hey, there you go.
Monsters will no longer cast persistent spells like Wall of Fire or crowd control spells like Sunburst in rapid succession. Thank you. And Barovia is a dangerous place track. I don't know if you know this.
I kind of sort of knew that, but I'm glad it's laid out in black and white here for me. Then
the Abbey of Saint Markovia is no exception. Those who seek safety may not always find it. We mentioned this before. This is an exploit fix that they're being coy about because they're not going to talk about it. So we're also not really going to talk about it, but it's probably some sort of perching thing. Remove some NPCs from Meridia that were not meant to be there. Cool. Fix some scaling issues with Tower of Frost, Memory Lapse, kind of a big deal, and Another Man's Treasure. I would love to see a release note that says did some scaling issues with another man treasurer swim through the spikes, which is more deadly than Crucible. But
Yeah, that swim sucks.
you see a lot of people ignoring that quest in hardcore for that reason.
Yep.
I did it the first season. I don't recommend doing it. Unless you want to go for full favor, then have at it. We talked about this before. Zwabi's Revenge and Against the Demon Queen are now granted separately. So once you do against the Demon Queen once per life, you can just do Zwabi's Revenge as much as you want. And the regular raid timer bypasses now work on Zwabi's Revenge. Fantastic. At some point, I'm going to go farm the crap out of that, I'm sure. And it'll be a lot easier. That's like maybe a 4-minute raid. So it'll take you longer to it'll take you longer to flag for that than it will take you to ransack that raid if you're cruising through it. So let's see. Some spike damage statting and Dryad and the Demigod, Lord of Blades, Master Artificer, Vision of Destruction, and 2 out to handle has been lowered. This is good because we had the stat squish, but it still feels about the same ouchie as it did before. So they're not like significantly easier, at least not what I found. Drac, do you have anything you'd like to comment about on the difficulty of raids?
No, I'm good.
I gotta drag you through raids sometime.
You do.
We'll talk afterwards.
Okay.
Babala Saga now has more spell power. It wasn't. I didn't find this really noticeable, other than the fact that someone, I think from my guild or in our Discord or something, posted something along the lines of, "Ow, Babala Saga hit me for like 2,000 or 1,500, 2,000 cold damage. What's up with that?" And we weren't really sure. I didn't have that experience with her like nuking anybody. I'm guessing that if you're not aware, at the end of the Babala Saga raid, there's a point where she has this like she has something that she says right at the end. I think it's when she gets to like a third health. About like her power growing or something like that. Her spell power is supposed to like increase at that point. Over time. I think it does it over time, so that might have been what was going on there. Wasn't something that I found to be an issue. Fred has a better understanding of human clothing conventions in Age of Rage. The Age of Rage chain. Or is it the quest? I'm not sure. However, Tumulton now delivers his speech no matter what. So that's good. I think that has to do with completing things correctly. Members of the Sharn Syndicate have started wearing newer fashions from Sharn. I assume that's the Sharn Syndicate chain in the market.
Yeah, that's what I assumed too. They must have went back which is kind of cool that they're going back to update that since they updated stuff in Sharn. So that's cool.
Somebody probably had like 5 or 10 minutes to do that change. Or it was bugging them incessantly, and they did it. If you didn't know, the Sharn Syndicate is the Boromir clan. At least that's my understanding. I think it's the Boromir clan. I might be wrong on that.
Yes, I think so. I don't know. It's been so long since I did that question. But yeah, I think you are correct.
I do it frequently just because you get the Coin Lord favor, but I seem to remember Knockback talking about it in one of the Ask the Devs and saying it was the Boromir clan. So, which begs the question, how come there aren't more halflings? Isn't the Boromir clan like exclusively halflings?
Oh, that is a good question.
Knockback, I have lore questions.
Lore questions here.
Let's see. Talon Darson and Come Out and Slay has had interior decorations from Sharn, giving the furniture in his mansion a refresh. Same idea. Half-elves have had a cosmetic update. Half-elven characters will automatically see their looks updated when they log into the game for the first time after Update 50 is released. Cool, I haven't noticed.
I just created a half-elf for the first time ever, so...
Oh, look at you.
I just wanted to see what it looked like, and I'm like, oh, I guess I should have did this before the update so I could see what it looked like before, but they look okay to me.
I was really proud of the fact for a long time that I had one in every race and one in every class. As time has gone on and it has become harder and less effective to maintain a larger stable of characters, I have given up on that. Although I do currently have a half-elf. Which coincidentally, we're going to talk about that after in our conversation afterwards. Let's see. Half-orc male run animations have been updated. Assumes they don't look silly when they're running. Evert's Black Tentacles has have its tooltip fixed, and the Alchemist's spell Smoke Bomb's invisibility no longer remains after you begin attacking. This is very sad because I have become very proficient of using Smoke Bomb to get my party members killed. However,
why does that not shock me?
yeah, right. This shocks no one who plays with me. However, I have noticed that if you have the invisibility from Feydark Illusionist, you stay invisible. Not sure if that's supposed to interact that way or not, but I haven't really noticed this because of that, probably. Yeah. Certain drought damage over time poison icons have been set to actually look like poison. That's helpful. When viewing a monster's hit points through selection, due to having the appropriate monster manual, the percentage hit point of that monster will now be shown in parentheses. I have not noticed this. I don't know if there's something I gotta check somewhere or what, but percentage formatting also changed. Also, here's the big one. The 64-bit game client is now the default choice for new installs. The legacy client is no longer supported. So if you have the 32-bit client, I don't know how long that's gonna last and work. Question mark. So anyone still? I wonder how many people are still running the 32-bit version though. So
I was just about to ask. I'm like, is there a lot of people that have 32-bit systems still?
yeah, there's a lot of
God,
stuff that's
I hope.
you got to upgrade to 64 now. So I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Saltmarsh FAQ. So we'll go through some, but not all of these. Can I purchase Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh with store points? Yes, in February of 2022. So if you want to wait, what is that? 7 months? 8 months? You can do that. Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh will be 1999 points, so just under 2,000. Monster Man will be 595, and the Horizon Rock will be 495. I think the Monster Man and the Universal Tree I think are pretty standard with the other ones, but Saltmarsh is a little bit more points than a normal adventure pack, but also less point than the main expansions. I think Ravenloft and Feywild and Sharn are all like 2,500 points. Check that. Can you buy Feywild with points yet? I'm not even sure if you can.
So yeah, I think that just happened not too long ago. I think.
Questions about the VIP Elixir of Discovery for Saltmarsh. If you're a VIP, you have to log in between now, or more accurately, when Wednesday, August 4th, when the servers came up with the expansion. You have to log in between then and midnight or Sunday 11:59 p.m. Eastern on September 5th. So, and if you do that, your account will be flagged as eligible, and your characters will get their claim ticket. This is irregardless of if you own the content, right? So if you're a VIP now, make sure you log in so that if you get this content, you can, get the Elixir of Discovery. And then maybe I'm just gonna suggest don't use it in Saltmarsh because it's level 3 gear. If you're looking for sentient XP stuff, this is a bad place to use it for, because you're just gonna get level 3 items. So use it for other things probably, unless you're looking for something specific. But you can just go run it on Heroic if you want the thing specific, because it's gonna drop in the same place. You don't have to get the legendary version or anything. So, and you can do that even if you don't have the expansion. You just have to log in as a VIP between now and then. So do that. Garthalamore won't talk to me. What do I do? If you were logged into the game at the time of your purchase, or at the time you activated your VIP subscription, you may need to log out of the game and back in before the changes take effect on your account. Let's see. Other things. I'm a VIP and I received claim tickets even though I didn't buy Saltmarsh yet. That is intended. If that wasn't clear before. Let's see. And as long as what happens if my VIP subscription lapses? Do I lose the elixirs or claim tickets? Short version is no. If you logged into it, you'll continue to receive claim tickets even if your subscription lapses. So just log in between the time frame as a VIP. You should be good to go. Let's see. The dimensional hireling folder is 1 per account. It will give it to the first person who claims the Ultimate Edition items from Garthalamore, and that's across servers. It's just 1 period, not 1 for each server. Yeah, there you go. That's the FAQ. Anything else I should highlight out of that?
I guess we could talk about the Spark of Logic a little bit.
Sure.
I know you've kind of talked about it before, but I've seen a lot of people on the forums ask questions like, "What the heck is that, and how do I use it?"
It's a spark, just like the spark of memory and dreams. You put it in a sentient gem, and it unlocks another slot. You still have to feed XP to it, but it just increases the maximum slots and XP that you can put into the sentient gem. So I should know what the numbers are for how many you can get. What is it? 6 or 7 is the base, and then you have 3 sparks, so you can get 3 more slots than that.
You can get more than one of them too, because you can talk to Garthalamore again, and he'll give you another one too.
You can also get them as a saga reward. So, if you run all the quests and turn in the saga, you can get. I think it has to be the elite saga, but you can get the Spark of Logic. It probably also needs to be the legendary version, not the heroic version. But I don't know that 100% for sure. Does that answer the questions you had?
Yep, that's it.
Great. Update 50 hotfixes. Zarnath the Vigilant now properly rewards Horizon Walker on a per character basis to characters that reach 400 Gatekeeper favor. If you already reached that favor, and you spoke to Zarnath, you need to go talk to him again. I'm gonna come back to this again. That didn't fix everything. The Bullywug and Satyr henchmen now animate correctly when incapacitated. I'm assuming that means when they pull themselves up off the ground.
That's what I had thought too. I didn't actually see what was bugged, so yeah.
I will mention that because I think that this happened after. Yeah, because we didn't do a show last week since the expansion came out. Sam has posted a video of the level 3 Bullywug Rogue doing like R1 traps and this Shadowfell pre-quests. So the three quests are like this loopy chain where you're was it Dendrick Black or something like that, chasing that guy down. So the hireling the level 3 hireling apparently has a lot more value than we thought it might. There was this corrected string tables for epic transmutation items for the Sands of Nectar Adventure Pack. Should mention briefly that the legendary Sands of Nectar items are not available yet. They are not done yet. So there's that. The correction issue that could cause characters to be unable to summon a mount. My understanding is this happened if you had a mount summoned and it was suppressed because you were in a tavern, and then you tried to summon a new mount, it would mess things up. But if you died, it would fix itself. So, if something's not working, apparently, try dying. It fixes things. Who knew? Let's see. Some items that erroneously missed the cap level item normalization have been adjusted. Ingredients used in upgrading scroll, seal, shard items now described in their tooltip, which crafting device they're used in. That's great. Upgrading heroic scroll, seal, shard items now properly requires the greater tokens of the 12. Oops. Let's see. Some items had miscellaneous small issues corrected. And the selecting the claim all items option from Garthalamore for the Ultimate Fan Bundle now properly gives the Saltmarsh Lizard Folk black cloth, that's the cloak, instead of the Sharn Inquisitive cloak. No, High Society cloak. Yeah, that's right. So, getting the right thing is nice. The Saga Givers for Saltmarsh are no longer confused about their location when you first speak to them. They are, however, still confused because occasionally they... I don't know if it's just the Saga Givers and the Quest Chain Giver or one or the other, but I have heard that you get the list and you see the list and then it repopulates with like level 3 crap. So, yeah.
Okay.
And I do not believe that's fixed. I did not turn in my Saga because of that. Not that I was in a hurry to, but hopefully they get that fixed soon. Let's see. Update 50, patch 1. So this came out Wednesday, August 11th. It was this week. Horizon Walker, earned on a per-character basis through Gatekeeper favor, is now retained properly through True Reincarnation. Oops.
Andy?
And if you got the Gatekeeper favor and turned in Horizon Walker after the hotfix, and then reincarnated and lost it, you can get it back by talking with customer service. Please see the earlier comment about and stuff about customer service times. Combinations of heroism can now be turned in for greater tokens of the 12 on a 1-to-1 basis by speaking to Lahar in the 12. If you're unaware, combinations of heroism drop out of Fall of Truth and Caught in the Web. It was an ingredient for upgrading raid items out of those packs. Epic chests throughout Saltmarsh now have a small chance of also dropping 1,000 sentient XP gems. Corrected an issue that prevented players with old epic versions of the Web of Chaos items from cleansing them in the Legacy Altar of Epic Rituals. I believe that is actually not fixed. The Smuggler's Steed is now properly white in color instead of brown. Contained augments now display their minimum level. Favored weapons are once more properly recognized on login without needing to unequip and re-equip them. They corrected a sound issue with the Baby Crocodile Creature Companion. I will take a moment to note that I was running with the Baby Crocodile when I was running through Saltmarsh, and it probably took me like 2/3 of the way through to realize that the groaning sound was not an ambient sound. It was actually my crocodile making noises.
It's a crocodile.
I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. There's like gator noises around the salt marsh. That's kind of a nice ambient effect. No, it was my gator. You know.
Wait.
Many missing docent base layers are now visible again. We're going to come back to that. Deprecated guild augments are once again back in the game data, so they can be removed from bags and banks properly. These items will not do anything, however, and can be discarded. Yeah. I actually did find that I have something that's been deprecated in my bank. I don't know if it's a guild augment. I don't remember if I found it before or after this update, but I might have something stuck in my bank. Oops. Saltmarsh mount types no longer improperly display as unicorn. They made a bunch of fixes to epic and legendary crafted loot. Fixed a bunch of typos. Krabben Bix is returned to the marketplace and is once again ready to bestow the quest Tower of Frost. How happy is Pineleaf over that?
Very yeah, we talked about this on the show. He's very happy. That's like his favorite quest in the game. So he was like kind of sad that it wasn't available.
It's an interesting quest. I wouldn't call it my favorite. I feel like we need to get him out more.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I told him too. I'm like, dude, there's much better quests to run than that. I mean, it's okay, but yeah.
Yeah. Frosty Reception, they fixed an issue with the spider optional logic not updating properly to the Goblin Waiter. And the Danger at Tunwater, the Sea Elf Ambassador Titus is now properly green on all difficulties. Kind of want to know what color he was.
Me too.
All right, those are the release notes. So far, so good. There's also some. Linabelle gave some comments about some feedback that they got. Some of which we just went through in some of the release notes that was in this patch, but we'll give you some of the idea stuff here. So Linabelle is checking in, discuss some of the feedback they've been getting with its release. Note, this is not an exhaustive list. There are other topics they're noodling on internally, and also note that some of this is subject to change. I assume the stuff that they're still noodling on internally is basically the stuff they're not ready to comment on more, but this was stuff they felt comfortable doing that. One, players really seem to like the new method of distributing expansion pack items through the use of an NPC in the appropriate public area rather than a claim system that adds them to players' inventories as they log in. This means they're likely to use this method going forward. Great. They can definitely experiment with retroactively changing previous expansions to use this method of distribution, although some methods of claim distribution may need to remain as is. And again, I will say, can we get them in the Hall of Heroes so that you don't have to, the ones in evening, there's not someone hidden in Evening Star, which would be kind of a pain in the ass. See, Saltmarsh's items being level 3 and then upgradable means that this pack is not great for Sentient XP grinding. Although they don't generally promise that all packs will contain efficient methods to farm all angles of character progression, this happens to be a particularly sore spot as Sentient XP is quite a long grind already. In the short term, their solution is to place 1,000 Sentient XP chits in all epic chests of Saltmarsh at a relatively uncommon drop rate. This means that players looking for Sentient XP can find it in Saltmarsh without requiring us to modify the loot structures. That change has already happened. I mean, can I just say, like, why don't the Sentient Gem XP chits just, like, drop in all legendary content? I mean, is there a reason why it's just not in the general loot tables?
I always wondered that too. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, I'm not asking for it to be like a super common drop or anything. It just seems like
Right, yeah, just put it in, like, the loot table, period, but, yeah, keep it uncommon because I mean, yeah, because you wouldn't wanna give them out too much, but
I don't mind saying
oh,
they don't even all be 1,000. I mean, just 100, 200,
yeah,
like 500.
200,
Why not?
300 maybe? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Epic and Legendary Craftsman system has a few sore spots and some bugs to iron out. Problem 1, the 7 non-Saltmarsh packs are dropping far too little pack ingredients. They were aiming for Saltmarsh level distribution, and obviously this not happen. In the short term, they're going to try to aim for roughly Saltmarsh levels, a small amount in each chest with slightly more in epic chests. Although for packs with fewer chests, they may need to change the paradigm. That change will be an upcoming patch. I don't think that has happened yet. I have a suspicion that the culprit here is the people making that change were unaware that most chests in those packs do not actually drop seals and shards. As in, like, it's the only one that does it. It's commonly the only one that does it is the end chest. There's a few places like Sands. That's not necessarily true. They're more widely available in Sands, but I think the other ones, the only place you're going to find seals and shards is the end chests. So if that's the only place you're getting the ingredients, you're not going to get as many as you are in Saltmarsh. So I'm guessing that was the issue here. Problem number 2, there are too few sources of greater tokens of the 12. To help alleviate this, they are introducing a way for players to transmute commendations of heroism, which I mentioned already is from Caught in the Web and Fall of Truth, to greater tokens of 12 at a 1-to-1 ratio. They hope that those 2 additional sources of tokens will go a long way to both remove pressure from the existing greater token sources and incentivize players to run those 2 raids more often. Maybe? I guess. I mean, you can actually get a few. Like, if you're going to run a raid just to get tokens of greater tokens, Fall of Truth now is probably your best bet. Slight shout out to Demon Queen. But if you can run Fall of Truth quickly, you get more than one heroic commendation. So that might end up being the more optimal way to get those. Problem 3, they accidentally removed monster sources of token fragments. Apparently removing the scroll drop chance also removed this separate check. They're going to fix that in an upcoming patch. So that'll be good. Let's see. Players seem to really appreciate the change of expansion hirelings to bind to account, specifically citing how this is alleviating inventory pressure, even if just by a few slots. I agree wholeheartedly. Thank you. Building off of this, they're exploring other methods to alleviate inventory pressure, focusing on the following areas. This is like everyone's favorite thing is inventory pressure alleviation. Area 1, specific source cosmetics. They'll be introducing an NPC in the near future that can give you a copy of the iconic exclusive cosmetics if you're on an iconic race that is eligible for them. This also means that you'll be able to reacquire pre-order exclusive iconic cosmetics if you've thrown them away, assuming you're eligible for them. We're also going to be making those cosmetics bound to account. This means that players will be able to acquire the iconic exclusive cosmetics at their leisure if they so desire, and are free to delete their current copies without fear they'll never get them back. Great change. Although I will say, between all the stuff that's going to be bound to account for that, with a new new character or being an iconic, it might become really commonplace to need to keep one slot open so you can create a character just to get some of the stuff if you need it for some reason. Because you could just roll an iconic character and then get the stuff and then pass it around because it'd be bound to count. Area 2, permanent teleport destinations. As one of our new quality of life endeavors, they're going to be building out a specific UI page that will hold all of your permanent teleport destinations, such as the Bottle of Mist, Key to Evening Star, and all that stuff. This means you'll be able to share them across your account on a per-server basis, and will free up inventory spaces across your characters. To use them, you'll be able to drag teleport destinations from the new window directly to your hotbars, or double-click the icons themselves within the window. We hope that this new UI helps players keep their permanent teleport destinations organized and out of their backpacks. Unlike the other items on this list, this one is far more complex, so we don't have a good ETA yet. That's all for now. Yay?
Yeah, yay, indeed, yay. Because I have I always put all that crap in my last bag of my bags, and it annoys me that I lose however many spaces for that. So it's let's do this, please, thank you.
Yeah, I have a few. This would actually make me much more likely to go get the D12 out of or D12, D20, whatever the dice is out of the Kobold, the anniversary event.
It's D12, I think.
Yeah, so I'll go get that for the teleport to the market if I can dump it into that thing, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
So that's great. Also, I would just say if you can do that, I'm just saying maybe add some more of those in some other festival events. That'd be cool, right? I don't know, maybe add one to the Night Revels that goes to House J. If it goes into this special bag like horses and it's not an inventory problem, this is great. We love it. Give us more. Improved precise shot in Horizon Walker. When they made the improved precise shot change, they already had the overall structure of the changes to range combat in mind, including this year's restructure of the bow combat style and the now finally released Horizon Walker tree. Those changes were not made in a vacuum, but with the intent regarding where they were headed. With Horizon Walker out, they're observing the overall ranged ecosystem and will continue to make changes as needed. That said, they have had no indication that they need to change improved precise shot further. There were a few people saying, hey, with Horizon Walker, improved precise shot needs to go back to the way it was, which I think really was just, I think it's mostly just an effort of, hey, can we have improved precise shot back the way it was? Because, all right, bugs, as you might imagine. There were several bugs that came out, some of which we've already covered because they've been fixed, like the Horizon Walker favor stuff, and changing mounts in the suppression zone, like a tavern, and using death to clear it. Some other things I've noticed, I haven't seen the devs comment on this, but I think one of my gillies said that you're supposed to be able to get empty vessels from Threads of Fate, but that's not actually happening now. So I don't know if I'm not entirely sure if that's supposed to be happening or what, but I'll just mention it quickly. Favored weapons. There are two problems with favored weapons. The first one we've already touched on. It was fixed. If you had favored weapons equipped, they weren't recognized until you unequipped and re-equipped them. That's been fixed. When you acquire a feat or enhancer that adds a new favored weapon and you have that weapon equipped, it's not recognized until you unequip or re-equip it in your main hands. This one is not fixed, and it's not in the patch, but they're trying to they're hoping to get effects in for that as soon as possible. In the meantime, you can work around it by unequipping and re-equipping your main hand weapon. So you may have to do that. There's also an issue with Demon Queen, Zvawi's Revenge, where you're not getting the correct rune. The rune drops are only happening with an item, so hold off on farming the crap out of that so far. They are working on getting it fixed, so the intended number of runes will always drop for you. And then the other note was about broken cosmetics. So this is what Steelstar said about. There's a bunch of cosmetics in the game that are having some issues. From what he can tell, all of these are the results of glamours created when the data for the base items had some underlying issues. Unlike the dose of problems of late, where the correct data was there, just not displaying correctly. These have incorrect data. They have a fix coming for the Shadow Scale outfit that should prevent future glamour copies from having this issue. Newly made copies of Executioner's Plate and Code of the Traveler do not have this issue, and we resolved the issue with the original items that caused this bug sometime between when they were made and now. However, these fixes don't and can't fix the busted data on those glamours. If you have one of the broken glamours, then you should contact customer service for a new mirror and create a new glamour, which should have the correct appearance. For the Shadow Scale outfit specifically, please wait to do that until Update 50 Patch 2 is out, which is not now, which should contain the fix that makes the newly glamoured copies look right. And again, please see customer service times earlier discussed.
Keep going back to that.
I mean, if they're going to keep telling me to refer to customer service,
I mean, true.
I'm going to keep mentioning that they told us that the wait times, which were already lousy, are lousier.
I mean, true.
So, and then a couple PSAs I pulled out. The legendary sand items are not available yet. I mentioned that already. Also, the red dragon shard from Vault of Night does not crunch into crafting bits. This is intentional because that shard is still required to make the armor. If you want to get the dragon armor, it's a little different. You need the dragon shard, and then you need the scales. It also, as best as I can tell, if this is wrong, someone correct me, but you can't upgrade it. So if you have the epic version, you can't upgrade it to the legendary version. You have to make a new one. So you need a new shard and new scales to do this. Now, they are making it a standard named item, so it drops more organically and is in the raid rune turn in. I do not know and do not believe that they have upped the rate of flawless red dragon scales that you get. So it may require some work to get those. And I don't know if they're in the raid rune turn in either. I hope they are. If they're not, Linabelle, if you're listening, please add those. Make those easier to get as well. But from what I hear, the armor's really nice. People like it, so that's good. Let's see. Do you have any dragon armors, Drac?
I do not.
We should fix that.
We do need to fix that because I like the way they look.
They do look fun. I did do for back when I did scavenger hunts every couple summers. Like I think I usually throw in like give dragon armors is one, but you have to do them in the same picture, so just to see how many you could get. Right, kind of fun. Let's see. Bonus days. Plus 10% buddy boost now through April 15th for every 10% person for every member in yourself in a party, not raid groups. Let's see. Store news: Hack and Stash, 20% off of Slayer Boost, Treasure Hunter Elixir, and Hidden Potential Elixirs. Select shared storage through August 19th. That should be pretty good timing from the damsels because I think a bunch of them are losing their VIP subscriptions are expiring, and that was one of the things they wanted to get, so it might be helpful. The coupon code, a free summoned repair shop. Coupon code is Pocket Shop through August 19th as well. Whew, there we go. That's the game news, the Saltmarsh stuff. Anything you want to throw out before we move on, sir?
Nope, we can move on, I think.
All right. Let's talk about community news. We did have the 2 Chronicles. So 435, the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh has been released. We talked a bunch about this stuff. We can move on. We got a shout out. So several content creators are creating playlists on the run throughs of the new quest. They gave us a shout out for DDOCast. We did a run through of everything on R6 with Tosh and Grubby and Jax and who else was with? I think someone else was with us. Fire? Maybe Fire was with. I don't know. We did it with 5 people. And I apologize for whoever's name. I'm pretty sure it was Fire. But we did that, and I did videos and threw out videos. So if you want to see the content, maybe you don't have it, or you're not sure you're having trouble completing a quest, you can go check out those videos that are on our website and on YouTube. Also, Valagar Alovane did some as well. And Axel has videos for the Saltmarsh cosmetics, pets, mounts, and outfits. So if you're looking for that, you can get that from him as well. The guild for the week. The Chaos of Night is a Kyber-based guild with all the bells and whistles, but only 2 active players currently. This small group is looking for new players to join them. You can read more on the recruitment forums. There you go. The comment, what is the not-so-sinister secret of Saltmarsh? You remember what you said on your show?
I'm trying to think. I think I said like the beer was bad or something. I don't remember now.
I was going to say that the water, the marsh, is not salty. It's sweet.
Oh, see, now that's a good answer.
Maybe. Fansite news. We got a shout out for episode 646. That's where we were talking about the Saltmarsh bundles and what we thought of them. Spoiler alert, we were not impressed. DDO Players news has Wendigos and Saltmarsh. That's a strange combination, sir.
Long story.
You okay? You doing okay?
It's debatable.
I mean, I listened to your show, and relative to our normal climates, I'm sure we're baking more than you are. So.
Well, yeah, that's true. You have had it a little worse. That is true.
See, DDO Stream is your first stop to find DDO on Twitch. They're giving shout-outs to Brighter Days Ahead, looks at Saltmarsh, Bard Life has Past Life, and then D&D Night had a countdown to destruction. That's referring to the Rime of the Frost Maiden adventure, which I'm playing in. Also on Twitch, Strimtime runs the new quest. Deathy TV is there for launch day, and Brackart checks out Saltmarsh. And on YouTube, Samus Garobo gives the new Bullywug Rogue highlighting a test in R1 and Reaper 1 Disciples of Shar. Mentioned that earlier. Ashen Wings levels for free, and this is not a name. I think that's
I
Tasman.
had problems with this too.
I think this is supposed to be Tasman. I am not hip, so I'm not sure what letter a 4 is supposed to represent, but I'm going to assume it's an A. So I think that's supposed to be Tasman, just with 4s instead of A's. But they got an immortality lesson. We talked about stuff. The 436 Chronicle, Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh soundtrack is now available on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, you can. The music was good, I think, again. I don't think it was... It didn't stand out to me as much as Feywild did. But I think that has more to do with how different Feywild's music is relative to the other stuff. So,
right, I still say Feywild and Ravenloft were my 2 favorite soundtracks.
Yeah, they're both pretty distinctive. I mean, Sharn. Mm-hmm. The thing about Sharn's soundtrack is like you get to Sharn and you're immediately
exactly
right. Like it's in your face about it. The Saltmarsh, I think the music just didn't have anything that was like really loud to begin with. It just felt quieter. Right. I don't know if like maybe it's just me, but I feel like the sound levels throughout the game are really inconsistent. It's actually really annoying to me.
Definitely they are.
But anyways, if you want to listen to the Saltmarsh soundtrack, go ahead and do that. I'm planning on giving that a listen in the near future. Comment for the week. Type the first thing you think of for the following. Name a DDO ingredient.
Dragon shards.
Yeah, dragon shards. It's kind of the first one that comes to mind.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, fansite news: Strimtom reviewed Saltmarsh. DDO Players news discovers Magic Weather Grills in episode 296. Hey, you're getting close to 300.
We are like 4 weeks away. It's exciting.
Assuming you actually have a schedule that allows you to do each for the few more.
True that.
Am I hitting you where it hurts?
Yeah, a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
Let's see. Here's a shout out for D&D night. Having survived a horde of undead, the party turns their attention to the traitorous gray dogs and their search for the stolen Oracle of War. Check out D&D night on DDO stream every Sunday on Twitch starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. So that'll be Oracle of War is the adventure that I'm DMing. Will be tomorrow. If you're listening to this live at 7 Eastern on twitch.tv/DDO stream. DDO stream is your first stop to find DDO on Twitch. This week, Doug gets fiery, Brock and Friends gets the gold, and Voodoo Spice gets Chetty. Also on Twitch, Bonnie Bew runs Saltmarsh. Good to see her getting a shout out. Yezik Guy games with family, and Tom Capor runs Old School Raids.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm happy to see Bonnie running up on Twitch again. Always good to see her doing stuff.
Over on YouTube, Sofa plays finds treasure. Petrichor runs Irestone Inlet, and Foji Video goes hunting. I think that'll cover pretty much all that stuff. Cordovan goes undercover in the latest weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream. Interesting. Like going around the office in a disguise or something?
Yeah, I didn't watch that video yet, so I'm gonna have to watch that because I was like, what the heck does that mean?
What does that mean? Let's see. DDOcast news. Hey, we're still doing the show. Experimenting myself some stuff. Check out DDOcast.com and our YouTube and Twitch pages. My guild, the Lava Divers, has been doing Descent into Avernus, so I've been publishing those videos as I can get them edited for from our sessions. I've been splitting, like, we do a session for like 3 or 4 hours, and I've been like splitting them into like 2 or 3 videos just to try to make the videos shorter so they're not like these massive 4-hour videos. But if you are interested in Descent into Avernus, and you can come check us out, that's all on YouTube and our DDOcast page. I'm hoping to get DDO Splat running soon, maybe. Still need to figure some things out, but I think soon, maybe. D&D night, we've talked about that a few times. Check out D&D night on DDO stream, Sundays, 7 p.m. Eastern. I know that I have this reputation for trying to kill my players, or at least joking that I'm going to kill my players. I'm just going to point out that the adventure the part of the adventure that we're starting tomorrow, the title of it is A Million Ways to Die.
So you know what you're getting into, players.
So it's not entirely my fault this time. So, there you go. So that's our show today. Drac, what's going on at DDO Players news?
Yeah, like I said, 300th episode coming up. Should be 4 weeks tentatively if I have an episode every week. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but yeah, so that's exciting. I didn't think we'd ever make it to 300, but here we are, almost there. We got Gen Con coming up too. We're going to cover that again for the site. So fun, exciting stuff coming up soon over on DDOplayers.com.
Yeah, before you know it, you've done a lot of episodes, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Because it just seemed like not too long ago we just had like the 150, and I was gonna ask you this off air, but we'll just talk about it now. Why not? Is you, and then when we hit 300, is there any other DDO podcast that has ever hit more than 300?
Not to my knowledge.
So I didn't think so either. I was trying to think.
Samus and Lessa, I think, broke 100. I don't know how far they got. The Damsels of DDO, they're still doing a podcast. It is no longer DDO centric,
right?
And
they're on 120 something, I think. So they.
I was gonna guess 80. So that's bad. That's okay. They're probably not listening. They won't know. I do listen to their podcast, but yeah, I don't think anyone. I don't know of any other podcasts that have made it over 200.
think so either because I know like back in the day there used to be a lot of DDO podcasts, but
Yeah, for a hot minute.
yeah, they I think most of them only ever got to like 2010, 15. So
Even this show
that's
used to have a lot of kind of like segments that people would do stuff and send
yeah.
in that doesn't happen anymore. Hey, if you want to make a segment and send it in, I'm all for it. Like, we'll play it. As long as it doesn't hurt your ears, like I'll play it.
Yeah, see, and that's same for DDO Players News too. If somebody wants to do that as well too, you can do that. But I just think that's a pretty big accomplishment for a podcast to actually that's technically centric for I mean, we're a little I don't know, we're kind of weird because we are DDO centric slash other stuff too, but like usually the first half of the show is always DDO, everything going on in DDO. So I just think that's it's pretty amazing that there's only been like, well, one podcast, which is yours, and then pretty soon mine to hit 300.
I don't know of a lot of podcasts that go that long just in general, right?
Right,
Like
exactly. That's a big deal for our
300, let alone like we're approaching 650.
right, yeah,
Like
which is
most podcasts just don't go that
insane
long.
to me. No, it's insane to me that you are almost at 650. That is amazing.
Which, in DDOcast case, that almost says more about how long we've been doing it than anything else.
Right.
Same with you guys. I mean, look, DDO's been around for a long time, so, and I think Jerry started this like about a year after DDO started, so it's been going. So it's been a while. What, like 50? If you think 50 episodes a year, which is probably a little generous because I don't think we actually average 50 shows a year. We usually take more than 2 weeks off. At least I do. I mean, that's what, 13 years? So,
Yeah, easily, yeah.
And I started at 301.
I thought you started about 300 or something.
301.
So you've done a crap ton yourself, sir.
Yes, I have done more than half of them. So there you go. It's a lot of fun. I like doing it, and I know players really appreciate it. And especially on hardcore, I'll run into players like, "Oh, you do DDOcast. Thanks for doing that." Yeah, my pleasure. I do it because people like it, and hope people find some usefulness and enjoyment out of it. And hey, if there's something you want out of the podcast, or if you want me to talk less, no promises. But if you want the shows to be more like an hour or 30 minutes, I welcome the feedback. Spoiler alert, I don't know how I'm going to do this in a 30-minute show, but good luck.
Right.
Although there may be something to announce in the near future about kind of making some of it shorter. So, but I'm not ready to do anything more than tease that. Any case. Yeah, so thanks for listening to the show. Thanks to Drac for joining me today. And thanks to all the DDOcast contributors, and to Sandstone Games, Wizard of the Coast, and to Cyberbeers for hosting the podcast. If you would like to support the show, you can visit our website at DDOcast.com, or you can support us on Patreon. If you have a DDO-themed webpage, or you Twitch DDO and you'd like to be featured on our website, you can email us at DDOcast@gmail.com. We'd be happy to put you on our website, and put you on the hosting list for Twitch as well. Hit us up at DDOcast.com for show notes, MP3s, our calendar, previous shows, and other fun stuff, including various adventures in DDO, D&D Tabletop, and even some other games, which is really just mostly currently 7 Days to Die. We gotta get you back on our Insane server, by the way.
Indeed, I missed that.
Yeah, you missed the last Horde Night. If you have a comment on this episode, a question you'd like to hear us answer, a topic you'd like to hear us discuss, or you just want to say hi, leave a comment or email us at DDOcast@gmail.com. Welcome it all. So if there's stuff you want us to hear us talk about, or stuff, I kind of take what feedback I get, which is not a lot. So if you want to hear us talk about something, if you want to talk about a specific kind of build or something, can be happy to do that. It probably got a pretty good chance, so I'm always looking for ideas. You can find us on social media and follow our latest cast updates at DDOcast. On Twitter is better than Facebook, but we do have a Facebook page as well. So until next time, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your chest level appropriate, have fun, and don't forget to gather for boss.